Hey kids, welcome to Stylus Rumble Thingy Time thing. Today, I want to do a little thing about effects, but kind of a, not direct effects, but kind of a thing that's involved with effects, and that is lighting. So first we're going to touch just on general lighting and why you should learn lighting, or tonal pattern, or whatever sort of name it's going under. You gotta learn your fundamentals. Boom. So I just googled art fundamentals. I don't care what kind of art you are into, you gotta learn them. So what are the concept art empires. What are the fundamentals of art and how to learn them? Form, super important for effects. Holy moly. What are all these ads? Form, super important. Perspective, so important. Important for everyone. Anatomy, it can be important. I mean, for special effects specifically. I mean, if you gotta rip a guy apart, if you gotta do some weird mummy sort of thing with guts hanging out, or like a zombie, you gotta know your anatomy. That's real important. Composition. Usually someone tells me how to compose a scene. There's grown-ups for that. Value in lighting. This is what we're talking about today. Value in lighting, super duper important. And look, this is free videos, value studies, portrait drawing, light and shadow. There's a million things. Look, there's some color keys. These are all nice. So it's real easy to find information on this stuff. This is the one we're going to go over today. Value in lighting. I'm not going to do a full lighting tour, like tutorial on how to do lighting, because there's so many of them out there. They're fundamentals. They've been around for billions of years, or thousands of years at least. All right, so we got Photoshop because it's real easy to do lighting in Photoshop. So first, what I'm going to do is just fill this in black. That's going to be easy. Now, the first thing you need to know is where your light source is coming from. So this is for any kind of art. You're doing illustration, you're doing animation, you do a light source. Oftentimes in animation, they'll just say that the light is always coming from top left. Like that's super common. Or they'll give you a scene. So here's your little room, and your characters will be, hi, I'm right here. And it's going to say, oh, I'm over here. Wow. And the window will be here, say. And so the light is coming from the window. So whatever way your camera is angled, you're going to know that it's backlit in this particular scene. That's not going to be real common. Usually they're going to say, oh, there's imaginary light over here coming in this way to light this side character. And whether your camera's here or here, you're going to know that your light source is coming from this side and you've got a window here. So in 3D, this is a whole big rigmarole, but in 2D, you just gotta kind of keep track of it and light your stuff appropriately. So if you've got your light source coming from here, usually you're going to do something real simple. You might not even use anything in the way of shadow, like gradient. You might just have your light coming in like this, and that's it. And then underneath, you'd have a little drop shadow. Boop. But you'd probably use a shadow color. Boop. And your black would probably be more of a gray. There. So this is something you'd see in animation. You might throw a little highlight on here, depending on what your item is. But it's important to know at least how to shade that much. Okay? Because if this is your character, hi, my name is Frank, blah, 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 blah. I'm standing next to a pool of water. Look at that. So, you got your character in your scene. He's lit this way. And I see a lot of people draw water and then they'll just be like, oh, water has highlights. I'm going to just put some highlights on it. And this doesn't make any sense. There's highlights everywhere. That means there's light coming in this way, and light's coming in this way, and this way. And then where are you going to put your shadow? Oh, I'm going to put shadow here. Maybe put shadow. I don't know. This is fine. It's not fine. This has happened in my life recently, and it's not fine. So you got your little water. You're going to want to look at this lighting and copy this lighting. So if your light's coming in this way, then your highlight is going to be out here somewhere. Boop, 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 boop. On this side. And then you're going to have your shadow behind your water, because your light is in front and shining towards the back. So you're not going to put, you might put a little just contact shadow if you need your water to look real thick. but you're not going to put a big shadow on it. Now, if it was lit from the other direction, or you had a more interesting water shape like this, boop, let's fill that in. So let's say your light is back here, coming in this way, and it's good to draw 3D lights so that people know what you're talking about. Because a little arrow like this, like, you're not sure if that's coming in from this way, coming in from that way, right? So it's good to draw a little 3D arrow if you're drawing in your light sources. So then your highlights are going to be back here, and your shadow, let's even be a little bit lazy about it. We're going to copy and paste our layer and move it, and then just make it darker. I'm so lazy, you guys. So we'll make our layer a little bit darker and move it down where it belongs. Boop, 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 boop. See how like easy that is to make it look a little bit thicker? And this makes sense. Like having highlights everywhere just doesn't make sense, you guys. It bothers me. You also have incidents where you have to do a lighting on a character. So if you've got a character like this, probably should have pre-drawn a character. So here's your little character, and the light is coming up this way because he's telling a ghost story. Maybe I should have drawn him like trying to creep people out. So he's like, haha, I'm telling a ghost story. Wow. But you need to know enough about this to light this character. So you may just be doing a layer over the top, like a mask layer. Let's figure out his hair a little better. So you may just be drawing a little mask layer over the top. But you have to know if the light is coming up from the bottom, this part of the nose is going to be in shadow, right? Maybe the sort of stuff here. You're going to give him the cheeks. So you're going to have to break his head down into forms. So this is where form comes in. Remember we talked about that a little bit? He's yelling at my image search. So all of this stuff here has to be in shadow. And probably this whole area has to be in shadow. So you may just have to do a matte. And you could probably do it outside the lines. Depending. Like in Harmony, you can do this with your mattes. And just like slap stuff in there. Boop. So this is where the fundamentals really come in handy. If you want to be an effects animator, maybe you do the whole forehead. I'd have to take it and check it and see it. Okay, so then you've got your character with the bottom-up lighting. And I mean, you could look at reference all day, but if you don't know form, you're not going to light a character. It's going to be impossible. You're going to hurt yourself. Or it's going to take way too long. One of those things. You might get it done, but it may take you 10 times longer than it needs to. Another incident where effects are real important. Let's say this here is a pool of lava, so let's get real creative. We'll just turn it white. I love working in black and white when I'm studying light and shadow. That's a real good thing to do. If you're studying shadows, like start with spheres and cubes and stuff. Don't start lighting dragons, scales, and just don't kill yourself. Just do some little black and white studies with some simple forms. So let me just turn this so I can make a nice circular room with a pool of lava in it for some reason. And we've got some stairs leading up through creepy tunnel, because that's something they'd make the layout guys draw. So if this could even be like a cool cauldron or something, full of like bubbly bloop, 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 bloop. So if you have this, and you know, this might be considered compositing, depending on where you are, but it's real good to know how to light this room. So your bowl's gonna be real dark. I'll just make bowl real dark. Your room, let's put another layer underneath. So your room's gonna get lighter around the edges. So say we're gonna have some light around the edges, but we're gonna have dark underneath here, and we're gonna make a nice drop shadow. And drop shadows tend to be pretty hard-edged. I have to bring up the light on my cauldron once this is all done. And then these walls, you're not just gonna want to have your walls all lit. You're gonna want the stuff closer to the bottom to be getting more light, because it's closer to the light source, right? Well, where did I put that on? I'm gonna up my bloopity bloops here. Put some nice glow on there so it looks real cool. And then over here, same thing, where the room is leading back here, you're going to want shadows, and then down here you're going to want light. And you're saying, well, this obviously is going to be painted in the background. But what if it's not? What if this isn't there, and then they lay it in there? Maybe you got to light this whole scene using compositing. Oh, and another real useful thing that you need to get into your lighting for. Let's take this thing. Let's Gonna build a real landscape. Should've drawn this before we started. A really cool, authentic castle with turrets and stuff. And let's put some doors and windows. Alright, so here's our super authentic medieval castle landscape. Beautiful. All you could hope and dream for. And they want you to throw some lightning in. So you're like, no problem. I could even do that in Photoshop. And I just crack-a-lack a big. And I can turn lightning and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's okay. But it's kind of like not very interesting because light stuff only looks really light next to dark stuff. So here you've got your lighting all done, and everybody's like, nah, it's really not that cool looking. But what you can do is add, let's just do a levels layer, and we're gonna darken everything down. I'm gonna darken everything down like this. Now look how cool our lightning looks. So our lightning looks like not very cool, and now it looks way cooler, especially if we go in, we start adding our comp effects. So we're adding our blurs. So lightning-y, wow! And then you could start masking out this stuff here. It's only going to be making shadows on the stuff that's not directly in contact with our lightning. Let's just mask this part out and blur make sure our castle's shadow is a little bit more contrasty. The hill shadow we're going to have a little bit fuzzy. This other stuff we can. So now, look how much better that is. Because our light, very bright lightning is on a dark background. So this is something I often do if I have a scene with lightning. You'll just do mask layers to make everything else around it darker. And it doesn't need to be this severe, because this might be like, whoa, your screen is blinking off. But even that much. Because if we put these in a group, and we go... Isn't that much more lightning-y? Just because you've put in some shadows where there weren't shadows before. You're totally allowed to cheat like this. It also works on internal lightning scenes. So you've got your creepy, like, whatever room. You got your beep, beep, beep. Super good window here. So let's say you got something like this. And outside the window, it's dark. Okay, so let's say you get something like this. Some off-screen light coming in from over here. But when the lightning strikes, it's going to be out here in the window. So lightning-y. What you want to be able to do is make your scene way cooler. So, oh, that's weird. So you could take your window here like this. And you can light it closer to the scene. It's going to be a little bit brighter. And just hack out your... And you can also bring in the dark around your scene a little bit. Now, see how much better your room looks when you just do this too? Like you add that little... You could even do this and try and like draw your lightning in, which might look a little bit weird. But try it. Does it look better? If it looks better, do it. Just go crazy. It's cartoons. You can do whatever you want. So that's my rant on lighting and why you should learn to do it. I'm not going to show you how to do it because there's lots of tutorials out there. I just want you to feel real revved about it. You're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to go and I'm going to do so many studies now of spheres. Did I delete my sphere? No, there he is. Yeah. Sally Sphere says, go learn your fundamentals, kids. Hooray! So thanks for dropping by. If anybody has any questions or videos they'd like to see made, please leave them down below. Like, share, subscribe, all those things internet people ask you to do. and go see your fundamentals! Whee!